Good morning. I'm honored to speak alone in such a context. And I thought that the best way to keep me ethical, professional ethic, to speak about not only about the field, because I'm not a technician of the field, and everybody here in the panel spoke so many things which are important for banks, for economy, for people. So I will try to have a different perception, not a different perception, a different approach, sorry. What if we are taking a look of a discussion in a banking board about these issues? What if we are not approaching so politically correctness and everything is positive on us, you know, it seems that we have all the resources needed in the world to do things which are needed in Europe, which are needed in Romania, which are needed in the industry. I think is to keep me complete, it is correct to take an academical approach, let's say, to keep me safe, okay? So if we are taking a look from the bank strategy or banking industry strategy, we know that in the top of the paper, we will put the strategy, right? The first bubble. And also the strategies must be complete with an issue which is so important today, complementarity, right? So keep this in mind. And after that, we are going down with the second bubble, the operational capacity. Are we able to do this strategy? What are our resources? What are our capacities to do this? What are our ability? And so on. And after that, there are the pillars of resources, which are about capital, which are about brand, reputation, people, and network. So let's take a look with the issue we are discussing today, payments, digital, customers, security, safety, in this strategy of a bank, being in a board of a bank. Because, you know, we from the Romanian Banking Association, we are facing two realities. The realities when we are talking in such a context, and we are, as I said, positive, capable, willing to do these things. And the second reality, when you are talking with the CEOs of the banks, which becomes so low context discussion, so straightly and direct approach, sometimes brutal approach, about capacities and resources. So the strategy of the banking industry, also of the European level, also in Romania, about vision, mission, and everything, is about serving growth in Europe. Of course, it is about people, but we just try to remind everybody, also to the supervisors, also to the regulators, that it is not about only monitoring and approaching risks. At the end of the day, it is about growth. And these two things are sometimes so different. Sometimes there are opposites. And also it is about organizational cultures in Europe, in the supervisory approach, regulatory approach, and also productive approach in banks, let's say. So the strategy, as I said, it is about serving growth. What about the capacity? Do you have the resources to do everything? If we are talking here about the subject we already discussed, everything is great. We know what to do, and we have everything needed to do these things. This is what we are declaring all the time, everywhere. I'm just telling you a specific vision we have when we are going to EBF, European Banking Federation, also when we are going in our board in Romanian Banking Association, when we have guests from EBA, from ECB, from National Bank. We are very proud that we are so well recognized to have such a guest. And before the meeting with the guests, we are talking, let's say this about these problems, these barriers. When the guest is coming, we are ending his speech asking, can we do something more? after the guest is leaving the room, we are saying, how can we do this? Do we have the resources for this? And I'm telling you, measuring the things that European banking industry, calculating and elaborating today, analyze research about the myths of the banks, of the perception, right? And next 3 years, we will need 14.2 trillion euro just to serve the new arrivals, the new, I don't know, safe rearming Europe, right? Climate change. And we are talking all the time, and we are saying all the time that political approach is no more connected with the economic approach. Targets we are imposing all the time, they are sometimes not realistic with the capacity and resources we have. If you are comparing Europe with the United States, because it is also about competition, about capacity to compete, for example, with the United States, the capital needs for banks in the United States is about half that we are seeing in Europe. Is it more or less? Is it about big figures? Yes, it is. The difference is about 12 trillion euro free money allocating to growth in Europe if we can compete with the same demands from the regulator's perspective. I'm not complaining, I'm just telling you figures, because figure talks. I will not say the English words exactly, words works, okay? Now I talked about operational capacity. Let's go to the network. In Romania, we are running with 29 banks. We are running with 54,000 people, employees. But we are running also with some of the best figures from the perspective of supervision and stability and prudential in Europe. Liquidity, solvency, cost-to-income ratio, okay? But we also have our gaps, as Gabi, my colleagues, told you a few minutes ago. We are running with the last financial intermediation in Europe. We are running with the last financial inclusion in Europe. When we are saying financial inclusion means also to have an account to a bank. And we are running, now I'm getting me out of the politically correctness, okay? I'm risking now. We are talking about evolution and dynamic of populism in Europe. We are talking about legislation which is coming not from our realistic discussion, which is coming outside, okay? And usually we are not talking about this. We are not allocating resources about this. We are taking this as a, I don't know, inshallah, you know? This is a problem. Giving you figures about Romania, between 2014 and 2019, we had in the Romanian parliament 50 laws against banks, 50. That means 10 per year. That means a banker which is allocating a loan for 20 years, it will think 200 times about his contract. Is it connected with payment? Yes, of course. If you are running in a board of a bank, you will take overall the all resources of bank, the all problems of the bank, and you will allocate resources for a return of investment. Otherwise, you can disappear. Too many times we are discussing about you must comply, you need this, do this, which is okay. What I'm saying here, it is about asking before also the players about the capacity, about the resources. And the cultural approach becomes so complex because of this. Usually the banking industry is so responsible comparing with other industries, okay? So keen to talk about the future needs of the society. The politicians are already used to this. They will not ask you anymore about your industry resources and capacity. they will ask you for some other things. And usually, all the stakeholders in this system is not talking about this. They are saying, this is not our problem. This is something outside of you. We cannot discuss this. We will keep the environment to discuss only about our matters and our problems, which is not realistic. At the end of the day, in the board of the bank, you'll calculate. I remember that in 2008, customers and society asked the Romanian Banking Association to do things. And I knew at that moment that CEOs of banks discussed about the contract of, I don't know, sustaining ATMs, to annulate the contract of monitoring and sustaining the physical of ATMs. So these were was the reality at that moment. So what I'm trying to say is network is okay in numbers, but it's connected with the culture. And we are going to the people approach. It is about skills and collaboration. Do we have collaboration between stakeholders of the system? It is a good question. We are saying yes, but only about the matters we discussed, not about the unpredictability, the low predictability of the industry, which is practically huge. Because our vision and mission at the level of Europe, I didn't say it in large, it is about serving growth in a predictable and stable environment. Can we talk that the strategy is wrong today? Is it something predictable or stable for the industry? We remained with serving growth. And sometimes when you are taking a look, I'm discussing about the resources now and the destination and the cultural differences of the institutions in the ecosystem. I remember a saying in European Banking Federation, which I love, taking all the risk out of the market means taking out the liberty of the market. Sometimes we are so keen to eliminate all the risks, and sometimes it's not realistic to the normal world we are running against, or not against, but compete with the rest of the world. So about the net or the capital. The capital I already discussed, because anything you are trying to say that it is not so big, you are complaining so many times, everybody telling us this. In Romania, we are running with a capital, banking capital above about 20 billion euro. And the profit is about 2 and some billion euro. If the perception created in the market is that 2.5 billion euro is so big, so much, that means we can add another tax on turnover. And to reach a taxation together about 32% for banks in the country with the lowest financial intermediation, with the lowest financial inclusion. We are one of the toughest regulators. I'm not complaining about this, it is a reality, okay? It is about cost at the end of the day. Our Cypriot colleague talks about that many times. Can we compete with our resources and remaining also keen to our destination, to increase financial intermediation, and to comply with all the needs, which is sometimes not about the market? Can we, this is a discussion about the capacity, operational capacity. Do we have the collaboration to discuss about this, which is your view? How the things are seen from your perspective? Usually we are not used to this. We are just positive and politically correct all the time when we are discussing about this, because it's so tough in this new populistic approach. What means populism? EBF, European Banking Federation, made the research on this. It is strange, right? The banks doing a research about populism. And one of the definitions is taking out the elites of the room. And usually bankers are seen as elites, as industrial elites. and, if I may, ethical elites. From the perspective of regulation, very tough regulations, how tough it is. Can we measure this? Can we use figures for that? In my PhD, I tried to explain in 60 pages, and my professor says it's too much, please cut. And I remained with the 1.5 page, counting the abbreviation for all the regulations, and it is 67, only abbreviation, okay? Wrote in 1.5 pages in Times New Roman 12. And I says, look, this is the pressure of regulations. Can you keep in mind only the titles? Is it about cost and money? Yes, of course. Too much, too low? We don't know. It's so difficult to calculate, but there are researches about these things. I'm showing you about percents from the assets. We are running in Europe with 24 trillion euro loans. Comparing with the GDP, that means around 90% financial intermediation, and Romania is running with 23%. But we are the same with European approach, and I'm so proud about this, that we have the capacity to keep the row, to keep the place with our central bank, with our banks, to be in the same place with the European banks, despite our gaps, needs, and sometimes populism we have. Thank you very much.